Good evening and welcome to Horror Time. This is another episode of Scary Stories to fall asleep to. Before we get into tonight's episode, remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. And now, without further ado, tonight's story. Glastonbury Festival, Toilet Biter, by The Real Side 91, from Reddit/True Scary Stories. Okay, I'm not sure if everyone will find this scary, but for me, it absolutely made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. In England, there's a festival called Glastonbury, held annually in Somerset. It's the biggest festival in England, lasting 5 days. While it's mostly a music festival, it also features dance, theater, circus performances, and comedy. I know this sounds like a sales pitch. Around the late 80s to early 90s, my dad worked security at Glastonbury with a few friends. His main job was to drive around the perimeter of the festival with one of his friends in a truck to catch anyone trying to sneak in. On the second day, my dad and his friend were driving around when they heard people on the other side of the wall, clearly trying to sneak in. Usually, people would throw their bags over first, so they parked the truck by the wall and got out. A few seconds later, bags started thumping down on the roof of the truck, followed by two people. They were halfway over the wall when they saw my dad and his friend standing there in security uniforms, glaring at them and looking intimidating. The people froze, unsure of what to do. After a few moments of silence, my dad and his friend broke into big smiles. They told the people to jump over, saying they'd drive them down to the main part of the festival. This wasn't a ploy. My dad and his friend just didn't care that much. If people didn't look like they were there to cause trouble, they'd let them through. While driving the group down to the main area, my dad and his friend received a call over the radio. Another security member asked them to check out the toilets because something odd was happening. They dropped the group off and radioed back to find out what was going on. The guy told them someone had reported being bitten on the butt in the toilet. Confused, my dad and his friend asked if the guy was joking. He said no, but the person who reported it was clearly high, so it was probably nothing. Still, they decided to check it out just in case. Now these were festival toilets, slightly flimsy temporary setups over what is basically a cesspit. Not sure what they were looking for, they went down to the toilets, had a look around, and then left. As they continued their patrol around the perimeter, they overheard 3 more calls on the radio saying someone had reported being bitten on the butt. Other security members closer to the toilets checked it out and found nothing. The assumption was that it was either some sort of joke, or that people were so high they were imagining it. My dad and his friend were known among the security team for being very strong and good fighters, so they were usually called in if anything got out of hand. A call came through the radio directed at my dad and his friend. A 4th person had reported being bitten on the butt while on the toilet, but this time, the woman had a large bite mark that had broken the skin. She showed it to one of the medics, who confirmed it appeared to be a human bite mark. Still confused about what was happening, my dad and his friend raced down to the toilets. They entered a cubicle and shone a light down the toilet. Not exactly pleasant. Unsure of what they were looking for, they moved the light around a bit. Just before they were about to switch the torch off, they saw something move. It was unusual movement. My dad's friend, not knowing what else to do, called out, "Is there someone down there?" They saw faster movement this time. He called out again, "We aren't going to hurt you. We just need to know if there's someone down there." Nothing happened. Then, all of a sudden, a head popped up out of the toilet. It was a man wearing a snorkel and swimming goggles. Absolutely stunned, my dad asked him how he got down there. The man said he'd tunneled in. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure they had to take part of the toilet apart so he could get out. Covered head to toe in feces, the man was escorted by my dad and his friend to the security area. No one really knew what to make of it. My dad and his friend watched over him while they called the police. During this time, the man spoke to my dad. He said he had arrived a week or 2 early and dug a tunnel from the edge of a neighboring field. Keep in mind, these toilets were right on the edge of the festival grounds. He did this with the full intention of sitting below the toilets and biting people when they sat down. He also claimed this was the first time he'd been caught, insinuating he had done it before. I'm not sure if that's true. According to my dad and his friend, the man was incredibly friendly and polite, but, in their words, completely dead behind the eyes. Even when he was looking straight at you, it was like you weren't there. On more than one occasion, the man licked his lips, which were covered in feces. He wouldn't answer questions about his name or anything else, just rambling on about the festival. According to my dad's friend, at one point, while the man was saying how great the festival was, he swore he heard him mutter under his breath, "A shame they don't let children in." The police took their time getting there, not that I blame them, and I don't know what happened to the man afterward. I remember feeling sick when my dad first told me this story, and to this day, I'm petrified of using portable or outdoor toilets. To clarify, this man was clearly seriously mentally ill. Both my dad and his friend always stressed that he seemed completely unaware that what he was doing was wrong. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Horror Time. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos. Have a great evening, stay safe, and good night.